Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well. And yes, I'm in my car today because we've got a live session. And also, right after the live session, we've got a viewing at a mansion property in the greater side of London, Wentworth Estate in Surrey. So, this is why I'm in my car and not in my office today. But we are going to be going live with a ballet dancer who's a professional ballet dancer who's also a teacher, and we're going to know more about ballet dancing and what it involves, what are the techniques, what is the amount of patience that you need when it comes to ballet dancing. And for all those reasons, we are now going to be joining Adam at. Hey, Adam.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. And yourself?
Yeah, not bad.
Do you like it without the hat?
Yeah, I prefer it. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. So how are you doing today?
Yeah, not bad. I woke up kind of late, like 12, because it's like I don't have anything to get up for at the moment. It's just
Okay.
like Instagram work and then teaching. But because of Corona, I can't go to New Zealand,
Okay.
so I've got
So
like
you're
two,
stuck in Finland.
yeah, stuck in Finland.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining me today on this live session to share the knowledge in what you do as your professional career and spreading positivity during all these times that we're going through at the moment. So appreciate you joining me on this live session.
Thanks for having me.
So before we move forward, Adam, if you could introduce yourself as to who you are and what exactly is it that you do.
Okay, my name's Adam Ashcroft. I'm a 24-year-old ballet dancer. I'm from East London and I've been working in Finland for the past year and I'll be working in New Zealand next year.
Super, super. That's amazing. Um, so before we get the conversation going, all the guests that come on here, I don't know whether I should ask this to you because ballet involves a lot of practice and practice from a very young age that you get to where you are today. But I'll still ask you that, when we grow up and we're kids and we're going to school, college, university, whatever it may be, and we see different careers in front of us, like possibly our parents who are business owners, entrepreneurs, or doctors, lawyers, architects, engineers.
Hmm.
Um, did you always aspire to be like that one day, or from the start you had this sort of dancing concept in your mind and you took it up with ballet dancing, and that's what you aspired to be since the very young age? What is it that you wanted to do?
Um, no, probably I wasn't interested in ballet from a young age, because I
Okay.
started ballet when I was 11 and before that I was like, ballet's gay, I don't want to do that. And my dad's Muslim, he's from Algeria, and so
Okay.
he wanted me to go towards more academic routes.
So
And
becoming a doctor, lawyer, all that kind of stuff.
exactly, something more, I don't know, respectable, at least in that culture. It's more
Gotcha.
respected. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was only really till I started at 11 and then I started because I saw my sister do ballet and I was like always taking the piss out of her. And I went to a school in East London, which was kind of not the best school. It was like a inner city rough school. I don't know if
Okay.
it's fair to say that, but I didn't really, it's not that I didn't fit in. But yeah, I wasn't great in that school. I didn't do so well. So ballet was kind of a way out of that kind of world for me
Okay.
from a young age. And then I kind of learned to like it as I got better at it. But
Okay.
at the start, it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to be a ballet dancer. It was, I eased into it, and then people said, like, oh, you're good, you're good. And then I thought that I was good. And then I started enjoying it.
And how was school? I mean, when you were at school, I mean, we see different things in front of us that we want to do. So, but you were more inclined towards when you saw your sister and you were she was into the ballet dancing and everything. What sort of moved you from being academic into getting into dancing?
Well, the big move was going from a school in London to a boarding school in Birmingham. That was
Okay,
just a huge change. Like
okay.
everything was different. But when you're a young ballet dancer, you don't just cut academics like that. You keep doing academics, so you could always sort of pull out up until around 16. You can still decide, actually I want to go to a different route. So it's not like you do no academics. You do your ballet in the morning, and then you have academics for like 4 or 5 hours, then you have ballet at night, and you do that from 11 years old to 16 years old, something like this.
So
So
that was the for you 5 years from 11 to 16 were intense when it came to ballet dancing because you had to sort of balance it between studies
yeah,
and what you wanted to do as well as a passion, I guess.
yeah.
Would you
Well,
want to call it
it's
your, would you
more
want to, yeah,
actually. Sorry, go on.
would you want to call it your passion at that time? Did you, I mean, at the age of 11, did you think that, yep, this is exactly what I want to do?
No, not at 11. It took
Okay,
me time to love. It took me, like, as I got better, I loved it more and more.
gotcha.
So yeah, I just kind of got thrown into it as this 11-year-old from like from a kind of rough school in London, just with a lot of, I don't know, middle class kids, and
Okay.
I had to get influenced and become passionate. It wasn't like a dream story,
You
but
mentioned, this is a very good point that you mentioned that you came from that rough sort of school and getting into the middle class sort of area with other kids in there. Was there a feeling of intimidation in there when you were at it, when you were doing it?
uh, not so much somehow. No, they were the kids there were really they really let me in. They didn't. They weren't up themselves or anything like
Okay,
that. It was a
gotcha.
great. Yeah, maybe it was just a lucky year, or maybe I was really open, or I don't know. But somehow it was totally fine. Yeah, I think I was more of the problem than they were actually, because
Was
I
it
I had certain expectations of these kinds of people. I thought they would be, I don't know, mean
stuck
or
up?
look down on me and stuff like this. But yeah,
Yeah,
they weren't. It was
and
just me.
they were all welcoming, and that sort of helped you out in, you mentioned loving the the hobby, I guess, you know, or that's what built up your passion
Yeah,
into ballet dancing. So once you realize that, yep, this is what I wanted to do, and you did it for like 5 years constantly between school and ballet dancing. How uh was it like really easy for you to sort of put yourselves between those things, or was it tough? Like dealing with school, dealing with ballet dancing, you know, you can only give your, some people can only give their attention to one thing at one given time. How was it for you to put your attention to both the things at the same time?
Hmm. Well, everyone's just doing it because the school I went to, Elmhurst in Birmingham, is a vocational school. So it's not like you have two different schools, one for ballet, one for academics. You do everything within the same building,
Got
and
you.
the culture is just like you get on with your work, you focus on one thing at a time, you be as good as you can be at one thing, then you switch to another thing. It's not so mixed. It's hello.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I cut
sorry, I
out.
just had a call come through.
Yeah, it's very structured, and yeah, it's nothing out of the odd, like chaotic. That's what I'm saying.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So take me through this ballet dancing. I mean, how much I know about ballet dancing is it's pretty hard to stand on your two tips like that, right? On your 2 feet.
Well,
Is that what
only
it's
the women do
about?
that. Only the women do that.
Oh, is it not men?
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
it's okay. Literally, everyone asks that all the time, and I'm like, no. The women do that. Men do it maybe sometimes in like a character role or something, but it's not. It's not normal. So I've never been on point. I've never put a pair of point shoes on.
But have you ever tried to do it?
No,
Never.
no. I think it's kind of girly.
Okay, all right. So once you finish school and you finished your sort of ballet dancing learning, I would say, then you got into the professional side of it. How was it there, and how did you get into that sort of market? Was there a niche in that market, or you had to sort of struggle to get in into
Well,
the
no.
industry?
Well, from the Royal Ballet School, I mean, even having the name Royal Ballet School on your CV, it's still really difficult to find a job when you're 19 because the ballet world is very competitive. I mean, I guess same as every field,
Of
but
course, of course.
it's just as hard as everywhere else, basically.
Yeah.
It's nicer coming from a better school just because you have the name, which is great because then employers have like slightly more chance of saying, okay, let's give them an audition. Oh, do you know about the audition process? Probably
Yep,
not,
go
right?
on. You know, go ahead. Take me through it.
So we have to actually go to every country that we want to work for because they need to see us in person. We can't
Okay.
have like an online interview sort of thing like we're doing now and then get the job.
Okay.
Maybe it's different now because of Corona time. So for New Zealand, I actually did get the job without having to do an audition. But generally, they want to see you in person so they can see your shape, how you move, and then your character. But it's not like other jobs. So we had to go. I don't know. I think I did like 15 auditions, maybe yeah, something like that during my
As a
third
group
year of
or
school
as a single person?
as a single person. So I was 19. I haven't really flown much. I maybe
Okay.
went on like 10 flights before, and that was mostly with family and like 2 flights with friends. But then I was having to do lots of flights on my own at 19, and I was like pretty scared, you know.
And this was just to give out interviews and sort of get picked to do the job.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there is interview if you get through the class. So we do a class for like an hour and 15, which is like we show them each level of our technique sort of thing. And it's a
Got you.
good representation of our standard in the ballet world. If
Okay.
they like that class, then they say, okay, can we have an interview? And then we talk generally. Some places also need you to do contemporary dancing, which is another style, which we also learn at school. So
Within ballet dancing.
it's not within ballet dancing. No, it's another style of dancing, but they're quite close depending on how far away you go from the style. But different companies require different things. So
Okay.
there might be a company that's like 50% ballet, 50% contemporary, and then they all ask you to do ballet, and then they'll say, okay, now can you do some of the contemporary work that we do in this company?
Got you.
So in that case, you'll have to. Sometimes you'll come in with work that you had already prepared, but sometimes they'll be like, okay, learn this piece right now. And if you're the only one in the studio, then it's like very.
And how
They
long? I
put
mean,
you on the spot, you know.
have you been through that experience that they've been like, yep, learn it right now and show it to
Yeah.
us?
Hmm.
How has it been?
I mean, it's stressful. It's really stressful. You're just like, oh,
And
okay.
how long do you sort of get to learn that and to show it to them that you are the right candidate for it?
Well, it depends in every place, but usually they don't have much time for each candidate, so
Okay.
they really need to be efficient with how they do things. So they see, if you're learning it quickly, if you're not learning it quickly, then they let you demonstrate, like, I don't know, within 10 minutes. And if it's not going well, then they're just like, okay, thank you very much. And if it's going well, then they push you further. But it's
It
it's
it
not it's not like I can tell you a certain amount of time.
So basically you would be competing with other ballet dancers and contemporary dancers out there who are giving their auditions to get that particular job, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's many ballet schools around the world, but And so every, I don't know, say there's 20 dancers in each year, then those 20 dancers from each school have to compete against each other for maybe 3 positions in each company. So there'll be like
Wow.
400, I don't know how many dancers there'll be, but there's many dancers and there's not many spaces. So it's very normal for you to go to an interview, not get the job. Like, we literally, all dancers are used to getting turned down, basically.
Seriously.
Yeah, because it's
And
really
and and
tough.
and you mentioned that once you finished, you had to travel all around the world. So did you give an interview in all parts of the world, like US, you go to Australia, New Zealand, for example, Africa?
I wanted to stay within Europe, so I just went to the companies within Europe.
Okay. And that's how you sort of ended up in Finland.
Yeah.
And that's where you are today. What are you doing in Finland? And take me through that of how was the experience of getting that getting your foot through the door with all this competition around you, with so many ballet dancers sort of qualifying after studies and wanting that job. How was it to get yourself through that door and get that job?
I mean, we just do the ballet class, the class that we've been doing. It's not one class, but the style we've been doing for the past, I don't know, 15 years. So I've been dancing since I was 10 or 11.
11.
I'm
Okay.
24 now, so
Okay.
that's 14 years of dancing. So
Wow.
I just do the same thing I've always done. And if they like me, a lot of it's not even on your technique. A lot of it's on how tall you are, your shape, if they like your face, and it's different for every company. So it's not like every company wants one shape of dancer. So sometimes you can have really good dancers. They go to audition for a company. All of their school thinks they'll get the job. All of their friends think they're going to get the job. They come back like, no, didn't get the job. And then we're just like, oh, what the hell? We don't understand. But it's because in the director's head, they have their image that they want to create in their company. So
Yeah.
sometimes you can have a great technique, but they don't fit the image. So that's difficult. But as far as audition process goes, we just do what we've always done for a director, and they say yes or no.
Got you. And then that's how you got yourself through the door in Finland, I guess.
Everything. So I've been in Estonian National Ballet, Northern Ballet, Finnish National Ballet, and now hopefully, if I can get my visa, the Royal New Zealand Ballet. So it's the same everywhere. Yeah. Do your class, yes or no. Do your class, yes or no.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really fascinating of knowing about. I mean, I've always heard about ballet dancing, um, and been to while going on property viewings and stuff. You see one or two odd shops that would sell ballet dancing clothes, but I've never sort of put myself through it to understand what ballet dancing and how do ballet dancers sort of go out there and do it. So
Mm.
what I also want to know is when you're doing ballet dancing, right? What is it that goes through your head at that point in terms of what sort of comfort feeling, what sort of comfort do you get out of it, or is it relaxing, or is it like meditation for you? What is the feeling that you get out of when you are dancing? Either you're performing or you're just doing it yourself in the arena or whatever. However, it is. What sort of feeling do you get out of it?
It usually depends on what stage within a rehearsal period we're in. So if we've just learnt new choreography, then everything's difficult. Our coordination's not very good. But then as we get more used to the steps, then we can kind of forget about the choreography and it will be sort of a flow state where you're not worrying about anything. You're just
Mm, flowing.
dancing. And yeah, you're just going and then everything's working. But that's as far as like rehearsing a piece goes. I feel like it's really rough and then it's great. But before that, if we talk about class, it's sort of a meditation, kind of, because we've been doing it for such a long time. So
Okay,
we're used to how the steps feel, how they should feel. But then there are certain parts of class, like everyone has their weaknesses.
of
And
course.
So parts of
W
class
would
struggle with
nervousness
those.
be one of those when you're sitting in front of so many people, showing your skills in that dancing? Is nervousness part of it? Do you?
It really depends a lot on how confident you are at the time as well, because confidence is sort of not
It it
a
comes
thought,
with time,
it's like
right?
a
You are
currency in ballet,
exactly,
you know.
exactly. Yeah,
So if you're a confident dancer, you might not even have the best technique, but if you're a confident dancer, it can be a shield for when you go on stage. Sorry.
got you.
So you have to kind of maintain your confidence. I mean, it's hard to maintain it, but
Yeah,
you
because
you don't want to be like the worst in your.
what do you? I mean, I think from what I can understand from what you're saying, I think ballet dancing is one of those dances that you have to have full concentration on everything, right? Your technique, your mind, your
Every
confidence
night.
level. I mean, everything really, because if you're not confident, you might not bring out the right technique. If you're nervous, it might not just work for you, I guess, right? Is that the case when it comes to it?
Yeah, it is pretty much the case. But of course, we can't think of 10 things at once. So we have to be like, we're people, we're humans as well.
Of
So we
course.
do one thing and then the next and the next and the next. And luckily, our bodies get used to at least technical side of things. So you can sometimes not worry about, actually, even if you do worry about technique in a performance, it can put you off. So you need to not think about your technique so
Yeah.
much and just think about dancing, showing the audience how much you love ballet. And
Is it
making
true
it.
that ballet dancers are the most flexible people in the world?
No, gymnasts.
Is it?
Gymnasts for sure, yeah.
But ballet dancing would come after that, right? I guess.
Probably. Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
It's
I
it's,
don't know,
it's
don't know for sure, so like.
whether that is physical flexibility or whether that is flexibility in life. How do you see it?
Oh,
I mean,
flexibility. I agree with that because we're a lot of the time touring and completely changing our working conditions. And we could live on, like, right now I'm in Finland now and I'm planning on moving to New Zealand next year. That's a huge change. You know,
of course,
you can change
time
cultures
change,
a lot.
zone change,
Exactly. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So flexibility with life, I think for sure. That's we must be in like the top tier of most flexible people life wise. But in terms of bodies, um, very flexible, yeah, but not as much because I've seen these young gymnast girls and I'm like, wow, they're so far over splits, and
Exactly.
yeah, it's some people are like that, but it's not really necessary for us to go like oof over splits.
Super. So right now in Finland, what exactly you mentioned on your profile that you're a ballet dancing teacher. How many kids are you teaching? How many kids do you have under you that you're teaching them your techniques that you learned when you were a child?
Actually, I mostly teach people older than me. Mostly teach adults
Okay.
because yeah, adults are really good at picking up information. Kids sometimes don't listen to you so much, but
So do you
adults,
think you think it's easier to teach adults than kids?
I think so. I
Okay.
mean, in my experience, I haven't taught many kids though, so it's not so fair for me to say. But based off the adults I've taught, like I really think that they just understand what you're saying a lot easier. Even if you don't phrase it exactly perfectly, a kid might misinterpret what you're saying, but an adult will be like, "Oh, I think this is what you mean," and they'll be more confident to then tell you, "I didn't understand that." Whereas a kid might go, "Oh," and just try and go with it, you know. So I'm really happy with
And how
teaching.
many people do you have in your class right now?
I do private coaching, and
Okay.
so far I've got I think 8 students. So
Wow. That
it's
is
like
amazing. I mean, and currently during these times, are you doing it via video or you're doing it in person?
through video. I do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the next part of your journey is New Zealand. Why New Zealand? Is it really big out there? Is ballet dancing pretty big?
Oh, well, it's just a good company, and I really want to go to that side of the world because otherwise, I don't
Explore.
think I ever will. You know.
Okay.
So, and I got the job. I sent my application. They were like, "Yep, good." So
So when do you start?
as soon as I get my visa, the
Okay.
contract literally like we signed the contract and it says whenever you can come. That's like the because obviously what can we do in these times? Everyone has to adjust. They have
Of
to adjust.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. And are you planning to, I mean, one day come back to London and teach kids or adults out here in London?
Uh, Possibly, but it all depends on I don't know the life situation. So I can't say for sure. But yeah, it could be.
And one final question. Have you ever tried on going onto X Factor or any of those competitive TV shows to show your
Uh,
skills?
no, not really. It's
Uh,
not. It's not very normal for people within the ballet world to do that. I mean, there are a
okay,
few. I know. I think maybe three ballet dancers that have been on those kind of shows, but
okay,
it's usually when they're a lot younger. And if you've already got a job, there's not really so much point in getting lots of hype around you. For
okay.
yeah, there's just not really a reason to. So I haven't.
Super,
No. And nothing
super.
against it though. So I'm sure it's a
But
lot of fun.
no, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of fun. I can I've seen some of your videos and on your profile, and I think you're doing an amazing job. So I wish you all the best, and I thank you for coming on here and sharing your side of the knowledge in what it takes to be a ballet dancer. But before you go, Adam, I do this with all my guests that come on here.
Sure.
We're going through a lot of negative sentiment around us with, coronavirus and what happened in Beirut the other day, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Every time something or the other is happening, especially in the year of 2020, where so many things have gone wrong for people like myself, like yourself, normal everyday people. What sort of positive advice would you like to share with the world today so that they can take that on board and move forward in life?
Okay. Probably. Well, advice is in
Anything
how I
positive.
think people should live their life.
No, 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 no. Anything positive. You could share anything you want.
Okay. Well, I guess just look after the people closest to you. Don't smoke and read books. That will probably like help everything.
I'm
People just
sure
read
that
more books.
that is still an advice, and I'm sure people will take that up. But thank you so much for joining me today, Adam. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. So that was Adam Ashcroft, who is a professional ballet dancer, ballet teacher. He's currently in Finland, and I wish him all the best for his future endeavors, where he wants to go to New Zealand and teach other people around the world how to ballet dance. So thank you so much to Adam for joining me. Thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. It's a pleasure to have you on. Do join me again at 6 p.m. today, UK time, where I'll be in conversation with a branding marketing agent who will teach you how to brand yourself via writing a book. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.